This is the all-new Kestrel massage gun from Ekrin, and in today's video I'm going to take a look at what comes with this device out of the box. I'll talk about some of the specifications and features of this device, and then I will provide my overall thoughts after using it. So the first thing you see when you open the box is the carrying case that it comes in. Pretty standard massage gun carrying case. It is a firm case with a handle with a rubber grip. You do have two different zippers that go over either side. There's no branding on the zippers, but you do have the Ekrin Kestrel branding screen printed on the bottom corner of the case. Other than that, no other branding on the case whatsoever. Inside the case is everything that you need to use the device. Everything has its own spot inside the case. So you see you've got some paperwork on one side. I'll start by taking a look at the device itself, which is a little bit new and unique compared to some of the other Ekrin massage devices. So this is what the device looks like. You've got the Kestrel branding on one end of it. You have sort of this bezeled ring. And then on the very top, you have what is the power button and the speed adjustment button. You've got a battery light indicator on the bottom and then a speed indicator on the top. There's no power buttons on the bottom. You have just a USB-C charging port. You'll see the device is all black. It's sort of this matte black color. You've got two little rubber gaskets here. And then it does have a textured rubber grip on it that is a little bit different than any of the grips on their previous devices. It feels a little bit heavier than some of their other devices, but overall you have their sort of signature 15-degree angle on the handle. And that is what the device itself looks like. It does have a little ribbon in the case that you can help lift the device out of the case. So when it's laying in here, it is easy to just lift that ribbon up to pull the device out. You then do have 6 different attachment heads that come with it. So I'll run through those and show you how to attach those. So you have a silicone ball that has a soft cushion to it. Now all these attachments are locking attachments, which is something that they introduced with the B37S. But all you do is insert them and then twist them clockwise and it locks them in so they don't fall out. There's a little line indicator on the top. You just want to make sure you turn it so that those lines are in place. So you've got this ball attachment. You have a hard plastic fork attachment. And really the locking mechanism is most important for this one because you don't want this one twisting when you're using the device. You have what they call their air cushion attachment, which has got a silicone top with 3 little nodules on the top of it. But this does have a good amount of give and it does have a little bit of airflow that goes through that, so that's that softer attachment. They have sort of a cone attachment that is hard plastic with a rubberized tip, so a little bit of give at the top there, but this is a firmer attachment. You have a hard plastic bullet head attachment, and then you have a flat head plastic attachment. So I'm going to go ahead and leave the ball head attachment in it for the rest of this video. You do also get a USB-C charging cord. So again, USB-C charge on the bottom. This is USB-A to USB-C. It does just plug into the bottom of the device. My device did come pretty charged, but they do recommend that you charge this for 6 hours. It doesn't come with any sort of charging block, so you will need another block to actually plug it in, or just a USB-C port, or a USB-A port, I should say, to plug it into. And then lastly, you do just get 2 little pieces of literature. So one that just says, thanks for purchasing, encouraging you to review the device. You've got all their devices on there. Based on this, it does look like this Kestrel is going to be replacing the B37S because the only ones in the picture here are their B37, their Ekrin 365, and the Ekrin Bantam, which is their mini massage gun. And then you do have a pretty detailed user manual, so it just runs through some of the specifications and features, but then in the very back, it does have a quick little guide just encouraging you how to use it, where to use it, what attachments to use, and how long. So nice little feature there if this is your first massage gun, you're not really familiar with how you should be using each of the attachment heads. Now let's dive into some of the specifications and features of this device. You saw it does come with a case. The stall force for this isn't advertised anywhere, but I will go ahead and test it on video here. But I've reviewed enough massage guns that I'm going to guess that the stall force on this is somewhere between 40 and 50 pounds, which is pretty significant. So in order to go ahead and turn the device on, you see you've got this silver dial here. All you have to do is press that dial down and hold it for a couple seconds, and it's going to come on to the lowest speed. So for the purposes of testing this stall force, I'm going to go ahead and turn it all the way up. In order to adjust that, you just crank this dial until all those lights come on there. So this is going to be on the highest speed. I'm just going to go ahead and press against this and see what the stall force looks like. So I am able to get it to stall, but it does take a pretty fair amount of force. Now the one thing I'll say about stall force is it isn't super important because a lot of the times if you're just using this device the way it's intended to be used, you should just be floating over your muscle tissues. You're not going to be really pressing super hard against it when you're on your arms or on your chest. But where it does sometimes come in handy to have a little bit higher stall force is when you are getting in your glutes, your hamstrings, your quads, some of those bigger muscle groups where you really want to get maybe a little bit more aggressive sometimes. You just know that you've got a high quality motor. It's not going to stall it if you are trying to get a little bit more aggressive. But majority of users, you're just going to be floating over your tissue, so it doesn't necessarily need to factor in that stall force a ton, but that is a pretty high stall force from a lot of the massage guns that I've taken a look at. So the stroke length on this device is going to be 13 millimeters. Now that's pretty unique. Most of the time you either find out at 12, 14, or 16, or even 10. So finding one that is 13 millimeters is a little bit unique. That is a little bit further than some of their other devices, but not as far as some of the other devices on the market. But it is far enough that I do find that it is a little bit more percussive than typically I call the hypervolts, which are 12, a little bit too vibrational. Just my personal opinion there, but that is what the stroke length on this is. Again, you have the 6 different attachment heads. It is a 6-speed device. So again, I'll turn it on just to show how you change those speeds. But again, you've got this green light indicator here. That's just going to show the first speed. So the speeds on this are going to go from 1,800 percussions per minute all the way up to 3,500 percussions per minute, which is again an increase from their previous generations. But all you do to increase the speeds is just slowly tilt that dial up. You can see it getting faster here. And on this dial, there's 3 different colors. So you've got green, yellow, and sort of like a pinkish purple to indicate the speeds there. You've got the battery life on the bottom here. Now the battery life, they claim, I see 2 different claims, one that says 4+ hours, one place that says 8 hours. That battery life is ultimately going to depend on what speed you're using it on, how frequently you're using it, and how much pressure you're applying against that motor. If it's truly 8 hours, that's really, really impressive. But even at 4 hours, that's really impressive. They do encourage you to charge it for 6 hours out of the box. It is a lithium-ion battery. It's a 2,600 milliamp battery. Again, you've got that USB-C charge. It's a nice fast charge from what I've experienced. The battery is not removable at all though, but you do have that indicator on the top. So all you have to do is just pay attention to those blue lights. When you start to get low, you need to make sure you charge the device. Now, you'll hear it is relatively quiet here on the lowest speed. I'll go ahead and put it all the way up to the top speed just to hear the noise of it. It does get a little bit more rattling on the end, but still relatively quiet overall for how fast that it's going. Just to hear what it is when it's on my arm, a little bit louder here, but still nothing crazy. The weight of this device is 2 pounds, 3 ounces. So it is a little bit heavier in the top half of this, but I don't really feel that it's going to tip over at all because you do have that little bit of angle. It is actually a pretty good hand feel. I'll say the handle is a little bit bigger than what most people are probably going to prefer, especially if you have smaller hands. You know, it could be a little bit harder, but because it does have that rubberized textured grip, does make it a little bit easier to hold. But where that 15-degree angle really comes in handy is if you're trying to massage your back by yourself, which I know a lot of people are buying massage guns to try to relieve their back. That little bit of angle just does make that quite a bit easier. So that is one benefit of that angled handle on this. The price point of this is currently $350. But the big benefit of Ekrin's devices is that they do come with lifetime warranties. So fantastic customer service. They back up all their devices. So if you have any issues, they do also have a 30-day money-back guarantee with this device. So if you buy it, decide you don't like it, you can send it back. It does have a 10-minute auto shut-off, but I will say that in order to shut the device off, all you have to do is press this dial back in on any speed and it'll turn off. So you just press and hold that for a couple seconds. So my overall thoughts with this device, I think it is definitely an upgrade from the B37S. You have some increased specifications. I do think that the dial, while it is really unique, it is a little bit inconvenient that it's located on the top. I always say this, I would love if the power button and adjustments are always kind of right where your thumb is so you don't have to sort of take your hand off and adjust it. It's small. I wish it came with a charging block that went with the cord. However, most people these days have some sort of USB-A to USB-C port that they can use, whether it's a cell phone or just so many different devices now that are going to USB-C. So not a huge downside. I really like that it has the locking attachments. Again, especially when you're using a fork attachment like this, you want to make sure that that's able to lock in and not come out or twist, especially if you're using it in any sort of sensitive area, which you should be really, really careful with, but you just don't want to have that slipping up at all. So I've always been a huge fan of Ekrin's devices. I'm really impressed with this one. I think the price point is a little bit higher than where it could be, just to be competitive with some of the other devices. So we'll see if that maybe comes down, but Definitely a device that I'm going to recommend. If you're looking for something that's a little bit beyond entry level, I would definitely recommend considering this one. If you have questions about this, please go ahead, drop it in the comments down below. As always, I will do my best to answer those questions. If you like videos like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. It costs you nothing. It does take a lot of time for me to review these devices and create these videos, so just a gentleman's agreement. I ask, hit that subscribe button for me, like the video. It does go a long way in helping my channel stay alive. But otherwise, that is the brand new Ekrin Kestrel. That's a review. Enjoy recovery.